Kevin, I don't know about you, but out of all the games this weekend, this is the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I gotta say, granddaddy of them all, Rose Bowl, two rose-colored teams. This is one where you think Indiana, that line 6.5 points seems right, but just what Alabama was able to do, they caught was it lightning in a bottle against Oklahoma after going down. They're a team that with that passing attack, you can't count out. They had the block kick. I believe they had a pick six as well. This is the first ever matchup between Indiana and Alabama. So there's that aspect to it as well. I'm just going to keep going through my stats here. I'll rattle them all off.
Yeah, I,
Indiana's
I don't got real numbers on this, so I'm gonna let you be the
okay.
bookkeeper.
So something to look for in this game. Indiana's 1.4 turnovers per game differential. That's number one in the country. They forced 2.1 takeaways. They only turn the ball over zero point 0.7 times a game. Alabama is 1.5 takeaways, zero point 0.8 giveaways. So see if Indiana can. They got I believe just one interception against Ohio State. But see if they can force Alabama into some sloppy football. It'll probably be in turnovers because both teams play very clean football in terms of penalties. Only 27.1 penalty yards per game for Indiana, which is crazy. And then 42 from Alabama. So let's see. My notes. Here's the last line in my notes. Take the over. These teams are going to come out guns blazing.
Yep.
Bama had a block punt and a pick six versus OU.
Dude, that's great, and I want to kind of get in my feels as I talk about this game, Gav. Like, look, Indiana is the people's champion this season, no matter what. What Kirk Cignetti's done, it's awesome. I think that there's also an mental edge in this game that people might not be talking about as much, and the fact that Cignetti was a assistant coach at Bama. He did not get picked for that job when they were looking. So, like everything else with Cignetti, he might have a grudge match and he will not let up. I want to bring up the stats here that we get to look at. I'm going to let the numbers do the talking for me. Okay, Kev, you see this stat picture. All we can gather from this is on paper, Indiana is by far and away the better team, right? Okay. Now, what I want to talk about without like going too deep into the numbers is let's look at the resumes a little bit more here. Indiana, outside of that Big Ten championship, where they marqueed a great season by taking down a team that was previously thought to be indestructible in Ohio State, outside of that, what can they really, really hang their hat on? Put a pin in that.
Oregon.
Don't Oregon. Yes, exactly. But put a pin in that. Now, Alabama. Okay. Missouri, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Oklahoma twice. Like they have run the gauntlet of these SEC teams. And yeah, you can point to what the first half of the season looked like. But Ty Simpson right now, that kid's just going off. He is absolutely blazing through teams, and you saw it last week in what was a kind of a slow start in that Oklahoma game, but he came out hot, got 2 scores right away, and was able to put them back on the board. Now, before that game, they had opponents in Vanderbilt, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Georgia, like I said. In 3 of those 4 games, he threw for 250 or more yards, and there's no doubt that he has been one of the more developed QBs as the season has progressed in my mind. Now, Kalen DeBoer, he cooks in the kitchen when he is an underdog, man. That guy, when he is an underdog with Alabama, 2-0 straight up, okay? When he has been an underdog throughout his career, he is 9-3 straight up and 10-2 against the spread, okay? I don't have much by way of proving my pick with anything other than the gambling man mentality. So, with that being said, Kev, you got anything else?
Go ahead, reveal my picks. I hate to have I hate to have Missouri catch this stray, but they were 4-4 in the SEC. Obviously, they just lost to UVA. 4-4 in the SEC. They're 4 conference wins in the SEC. Those 4 teams, can you guess those 4 teams combined SEC record?
I don't know, but I'm guessing it was like it's below 500 probably.
3-29.
So
The
who was it?
4
Mississippi State,
Mississippi.
Arkansas.
Um,
I'm just guessing the worst teams in the SEC I can think of.
yeah, I'm trying.
It
I
doesn't
didn't.
matter.
Yeah,
Um,
anyhow, but yeah, but the pedigree is there. I think Indiana, Penn State was the team that scored the most points on them. Their quarterback came in, Brunkenmeyer, came in. He was
right.
able to find success through the air. Now, it's one thing, they shored that up against Ohio State. Indiana's pass defense, aside from that Penn State game, has looked elite. The reason why I ended up going with Indiana to not only win but cover, they have the number 3 rushing defense in the country, and this has been the thing I've said about Alabama all year. Sometimes it's been correct, sometimes it hasn't. But in order for their passing game to get going, they need to at least have the subtle threat of a run game. They're not going to win games. And as I say that, I know against Oklahoma, they only had 28 yards rushing, but that game was a weird game. I think that game
Weird
tells
game.
you less than it does. Yeah, that's why I went with, I guess, is Alabama now 7 point
Yeah,
under?
it's now 7 on DraftKings, and that's a big factor in it for me, man. Look, I already kind of alluded to it, but Alabama's just getting hot at the right time, and there's something about being Alabama that's just going to stick with you. They have a much deeper roster, in my opinion. I've said it all season long that Ty Simpson has just everybody and their brother to be able to throw to. And I do think eventually the curtain is going to fall and midnight's going to strike for this Indiana team. Now, do I think that they are going to lose this game? I don't know, to be honest with you. But if you're telling me the spread is an entire touchdown with an Alabama team that I'm kind of feeling good about, I don't see enough to take it. So that's why I'm going with Mr. Bama, Mr. Kalen DeBoer, and roll tide, baby.
Last note on my end, I would like to take the over on this game. Let me
Good
lock
pick.
that in.
Good pick. Good pick. I was pretty hesitant for any over-unders in this slate that we're talking about here. I'm kind of being soft. But all right. For all those folks who are just watching for our coverage of this game, thank you so much for joining in and tuning in. Bless up, as Kevin just did. Remember to like and subscribe and to start tuning in the new year as we get going with the college basketball coverage. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be talking about all the games that we can, and we're still riding high because our Hokies just got a triple overtime win against our in-state rival UVA. They're having a good time in Blacksburg right now. Peace.